Welcome back to Touring History X, Y, and Z, the show where we prove that any random date shaped Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z in totally different ways. I'm Dave.
And I'm totally different lane.
That's right, you're totally different.
I am. I'm a whole nother lane. Move into the other lane. Today's episode is sponsored by Stew Leonard's, where grocery shopping feels like visiting a farm-themed Disney World. They've got animatronic singing vegetables, employees in cow costumes, and somehow they make buying milk feel like an adventure.
That it should be. It should be an adventure. Plus, their customer service philosophy is literally carved in stone. A 3-ton granite rock that says, hey, the customer is always right. That's commitment to a brand message, my friends.
And today we're committed to diving into June 29th, and this date is wild. We've got a theater fire that changed how we think about entertainment safety, a Supreme Court decision that Gen X watched play out during every political scandal of their lives, and the launch of a device that basically rewired Gen Z's brains.
But first, Lane, let's celebrate birthdays.
Okay,
All right,
June
you
29th.
started out.
The June 29th birthday squad includes composer Leroy Anderson, who wrote Sleigh Ride and basically soundtracked every holiday commercial you've ever heard.
And Ray Harryhausen, you know who he is? The stop-motion animation wizard who made us believe skeletons could fight with swords, and giant octopi could destroy cities.
Interesting. And then there's Stokely Carmichael, civil rights leader who popularized Black Power and taught America that demanding equality isn't the same as asking politely for it.
I'm sorry, I messed up your Panther party. Reference, please. Sherry Blair, 71, who proved you could be married to a prime minister and still have your own legal career. Thank you very much if you're British.
And YouTuber Olivia Tyron at 23, representing Gen Z's ability to build entire careers around being authentically themselves on camera.
Speaking of being authentically yourself until everything burns down.
Yes. I think you're talking about June 29th, 1613.
That's right. The
I
globe.
knew it. I'm on your wavelength today.
Yeah,
I can
Shakespeare,
read
all
your
that.
mind.
Yeah.
Yes, the Globe Theatre in London burns to the ground during a performance of Henry VIII. And nobody gets seriously hurt, which is honestly miraculous.
Yes. Well, this is such a Gen X story.
Really?
Yes, because it's about a beloved cultural institution literally going up in flames while everyone just deals with it and rebuilds.
Gen X watched this pattern their entire lives. Savings and loans collapse? Figure it out.
Figure it out.
.com bubble bursts? Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Housing market crashes? Figure it out.
Figure it out. The Globe Fire is the perfect metaphor for Gen X's relationship with institutional failure. Figure it out. Something that seemed permanent and reliable just, disappears overnight. Sad.
You know what gets me about this?
What?
I knew you were going to say it, so I'm just waiting.
What? What, Lane?
The Globe was the place for entertainment, Shakespeare's home base, and it burns down because of a theatrical canon that was supposed to make the show more exciting. And it did, didn't it, Dave?
Well, it did, and that's peak Gen X.
It brought down the house.
Burning down don't yell fire in a Globe Theater. The thing that was supposed to enhance the experience is exactly what destroyed it.
Plus, Gen X grew up watching their parents' institutions collapse. Pensions disappeared, job security evaporated, and social safety net got shredded, but everyone just kept acting like everything was fine.
That's right, folks. Keep your eye on the Social Security ball. And just like the Globe Fire, most of these collapses weren't malicious. They were the result of people trying to make things better or more exciting. Let's put flames up without thinking through the consequences.
Yeah, the really Gen X part is that they rebuilt the Globe, but it took 400 years.
Well, they had to do it right, Lane. Really, come on.
That's the Gen X experience. Watching something valuable get destroyed and being told, don't worry, someone will fix it eventually, and it's probably going to be after you're gone.
That's right. I'm working. I'm trying to whittle this giant timber down so it fits. Oh, here we go. Lane has theories about theoretical safety regulations, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, not theoretical, theatrical, Dave. But
Yeah.
seriously, Gen X learned that safety nets only exist until someone decides they're too expensive or inconvenient, like Medicaid. The Globe had no the Globe had no fire safety because nobody thought they needed it until they did.
That's right. There's no net. It just looks like there's one. It's also about live experience versus recorded media. Gen X was the last generation to really value live, unmediated experiences before everything became digital and safe.
They understood that real entertainment involves real risk, and sometimes the cannon actually goes off and burns everything down.
Oops. June 29th, 1988, the Supreme Court rules 7-1 in Morrison versus Olson that independent counsels are constitutional, but basically setting up every political scandal millennials would witness.
Yeah, this is millennial history because they grew up watching this law get weaponized by both parties until it became a political circus.
Millennials came of age during the Clinton impeachment, watched Bush avoid accountability for everything, and then saw Obama deal with endless investigations over things like Fast and Furious and Benghazi.
What makes this so millennial is that they learned early that independent doesn't actually mean independent. It just means expensive and partisan in a different way.
That's right, drawn out stuff. The law was supposed to prevent another Watergate, but millennials watched it become the tool for creating mini Watergates constantly.
Plus, this decision happened right when millennials were being born, and by the time they could vote, they'd watched independent councils become this weird political performance art.
Yeah, think about it. Millennials' first major political memory is probably Clinton's impeachment. Big yawn, which was enabled by this exact law. And it was basically a $70 million investigation into a lie about, hold your ears, people.
And that taught them that political accountability is performative. It's not about actual justice, it's about who can put on the better TV show.
Yeah, millennials also watched this law expire in 1999, get revived in different forms, and become this weird zombie legal framework that nobody could kill, but nobody wanted to keep.
Oh, here we go. Dave has theories about legal
Well,
institutions.
I do. Look, millennials learned that institutions designed to protect democracy could be used to undermine it, depending on who's running the show, right? That's a pretty sophisticated lesson for a generation everyone calls naive, but they're learning.
Yep. The Morrison decision also happened during peak end of history optimism. Like, we solved government corruption, time to move on. And millennials got to watch that optimism slowly curdle.
Curdle. But the
Curdle.
time they hit voting age, millennials understood that every legal safeguard could become a political weapon. Which explains their relationship with institutional trust.
Plus, they watched this play out on 24/7 news cycles. So political investigations became content rather than actual accountability.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Yeah. Well, that's enough of that, right, Dave?
Yeah! Wow!
Let's move on to June 29th, 2007. The first iPhone goes on sale, and Gen Z's relationship with reality fundamentally changes.
Well, this isn't just about technology. This is about revolution. Gen Z being the first generation to grow up with the internet in their pocket. Ouch. Oh, that feels good.
Gen Z doesn't remember a time when you couldn't instantly fact check an argument, find directions anywhere, or document every moment of your life.
What makes this so Gen Z is that they're the first generation to develop social skills. I don't know about that. Romantic relationships and identify information through a device that was designed to be addictive, literally.
Yeah, previous generations adapted
Oh,
to.
hold on, Lane. I have to check my phone for messages.
Okay, Dave, are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Pre-
wait a minute. Oh, there's
okay.
one coming in.
Previous generations adapted to smartphones. Gen Z was shaped by them from the very beginning.
The iPhone launch also happened right when the oldest Gen Z kids were hitting middle school, which is exactly when you're figuring out who you are and how you relate to other people. I've got you.
And suddenly, that process involved curating an online persona, managing social media anxiety, and dealing with cyberbullying, none of which previous generations had to navigate as kids.
Yes, and what most people don't know is all the people that developed these phones don't let their kids have them.
Ah, yes, yes. They would never
Yeah,
put,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. They're like, no.
Interesting, right?
You know
Mm.
what gets me about Gen Z and the iPhone? They're the first
What,
generation.
Dave?
Well, they're the first generation to experience FOMO. You know what that is?
Fear of missing out.
It's a sort of foam that comes no, it's fear of missing out as a constant background condition rather than occasional feeling.
I thought it was our new sponsor, FOMO shaving cream.
At Stew's,
It's not just foam, it's FOMO.
it's FOMO.
Yeah, right. Before smartphones, if you missed something, you just missed it.
Missed it.
Gen Z grew up knowing they could theoretically be aware of everything happening everywhere all the time.
Plus, Gen Z learned that attention is currency. The iPhone turned every moment into potential content. Oh, look! Huh, he's buying. Oh, what is he buying? Look at that! Every experience into something that could be optimized for likes and shares or shameful activity.
And here's what's fascinating: Gen Z also developed incredible BS detection skills because they grew up knowing that everything online could be fake, filtered, or manipulated.
Really? I didn't know that. You mean when I was at the gas station pumping diesel into my friend's car that only takes gas, they caught me? The
They caught you,
iPhone gave
Dave.
them access to infinite information and infinitesimal information simultaneously. So they had become their own fact checkers from childhood. Goes way back, Lane.
Yeah, Gen Z also experienced globalization in a completely different way. The iPhone connected them directly to peers worldwide, not through institutional media or official channels.
And they understood immediately that their phones were surveillance devices. Ooh,
Ooh.
Stasi stuff. Privacy became something you had to actively protect. Oh, here we go again. How many cookies have you got on your phone? Rather than something naturally possessed.
The 2007 iPhone launch is basically Gen Z's origin story, the moment when human consciousness got networked in real time.
And now it's a time for a quick word from our sponsor, Stew Leonard's, because honestly, they figured out experience design before tech companies made it trendy, although Disney did it first.
Yeah, think about it. Stew Leonard's has been creating immersive retail experiences since 1969. They've got a petting zoo, animatronic shows, and employees in costume, all to make grocery shopping memorable.
Yes, their only stock is 2,000 carefully selected items instead of the overwhelmingly 40,000 you'll find elsewhere. It's like the anti Amazon approach, curation over infinite choice.
Plus, they're obsessed with freshness.
It's true.
80% of everything is made on site while you shop. Your bread was probably baking when you walked in the door.
Well, that would explain that delicious smell. They,
Did you get a
and that,
little lost there, Dave? Lost
I
on
did.
aisle four?
I'm a lot clean up on aisle 4, Mike 3, and that customer service philosophy carved into a 3-ton rock. Rule number 1, customer is always right. Rule number 2, if the customer is ever wrong, reread no rule number 1. And that's commitment to simplicity,
Yeah.
like my brain.
Visit stewleonards.com to find your nearest location and don't forget, spend $100, get free ice cream. Sometimes the best technology is just treating people well. And ice cream is
Mm.
treating everybody well.
Now back to our regularly scheduled historical chaos.
Well, we're back to wrapping things up.
Closing.
So there's June 29th through three generational lenses, a theater fire that taught Gen X that beloved institutions can disappear overnight, a
Poof,
Supreme Court decision that showed millennials how legal safeguards become political weapons, and
poof.
a phone launch that rewired Gen Z's entire relationship with reality.
What's striking is how each generation learned to navigate institutional failure, but through completely different frameworks. How about that?
Yeah, Gen X learned through physical collapse, literal fires, economic crashes, infrastructure decay. Millennials learned through political weaponization, watching tools of accountability become tools of partisan warfare.
And Gen Z learn through technological disruption, having their social development fundamentally, I can't even say it, having their social development fundamentally altered by devices designed to capture their attention. Ah, the curse of the phone.
Yeah, but they all developed the same skill: skepticism of official narratives and the ability to create their own information networks.
Whether it's rebuilding after fires, seeing through political theater, or navigating algorithmic manipulation, ooh, there's a mouthful, each generation had to become their own fact checkers.
Thanks for joining us on Touring History X, Y, and Z. Remember, Stew Leonard's has been creating memorable experiences since before experience design was a thing. Sometimes the old ways work best.
Moo. Remember to do that the minute you walk into Stews. Next week, we're covering June 30th and a few dates in between. And spoiler alert, it involves both a political assassination, ooh, and the invention of something that changed how we think about time itself. Would that be the time machine, Lane?
It could be, and
Yeah.
if any of you listeners would like to send in your favorite memories, please send them to us in a voice memo that you record on your phone, and you may be added to the podcast and our animated version over there on YouTube.
That's right. And it comes with no hidden costs. And if you have a time machine, send that in too.
Yeah. Until then, question everything, trust your sources, and remember, every convenience comes with hidden costs.
That's right. And remember to moo on your way into the store. See ya.
We'll see you next time on Touring History X, Y, and
History.
Z.
Bye.
Moo.
Moo.